Okay.
Thank you. Morning, Charlie. How you doing? Good. Just do me a favor. Keep your voice up and stay close to that microphone because the acoustics are kind of bad in this courtroom. Okay. Charlie, can you tell the jury how old you are?
I'm 19 years old.
And do you go to school?
I go to Central Connecticut State University.
And what do you study?
Construction management.
And are you working for the summer?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm an intern for a construction company.
Now, have we met before today?
Yes, we have.
How many times did we meet?
Twice.
And why did we meet?
Discuss this.
And back on May 14th of 2022, how old were you?
16 years old.
And did you go to school?
Yes.
Where did you go to school?
Shawn High School.
And what year were you?
I was a junior.
And did you play any sports?
Yes.
What did you play?
I played baseball.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Ryan Hines?
Yes.
How are you familiar with him?
He's a friend. He was my baseball teammate. He's a good friend of mine.
State's Exhibit 56. Can you tell us who's in State's 56?
Ryan Hines.
Familiar with an individual by the name of Griffin Marcinzik?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Griffin Marcinzik?
He's a childhood friend and still one of my best friends today.
I want to direct your attention to later on in the night on May 14th of 2022. Did you attend a party anywhere that night?
Yes.
And what party did you attend?
Party at 43 Laurel Glen Drive.
And who lives there?
Tyler Rich.
And show you State's Exhibit 5. Do you know whose house that is?
It's Tyler Rich's house.
Now, what time of day would you say you got to Tyler Rich's house?
9:30 to 10. Maybe.
And was it what was the lighting out like?
It was dark outside.
Was it dark out where you couldn't see in front of you, pitch black? What was it like?
I was able to see in front of me, but I wasn't pitch black out.
Now, when you got to Tyler Rich's house on that night, how many people were at Tyler Rich's house? Do you recall?
Around 30 people.
And what kinds of things were going on at Tyler Rich's house?
Drinking, social gathering, just hanging out with friends.
When you say drinking, what kind of things were people drinking?
Beer.
And how did you get to Tyler Rich's house?
I drove.
And when you got to Tyler Rich's house initially, did you have anything to drink at that point?
No.
Why not?
I was driving.
How long would you say you were?
Oh, so responsible. Oh.
Probably half an hour to 45 minutes.
And after about half hour to 45 minutes, did you have an occasion to leave Tyler Rich's house?
Very thoughtful.
Why did you leave?
I received a
Good to
call
meet you.
from a friend, Ryan Hines, that he has just gone to a fight and kicked out of a party and wanted to see if I could pick him up.
And did you, in fact, go pick him up?
Yes.
Where did you go?
To this girl named Natalia's house. I don't know her address. It's in Shelton.
How'd you get there?
I drove.
Did you put a GPS on and kind of follow Waze or something?
Yeah.
So when you got to Natalia's house, who did you pick Ryan up?
Yes, I picked up Ryan and Griffin Marcinzik.
And when you picked up Ryan and Griffin, did you leave Natalia's house immediately?
Yes.
When you picked them up, was it just the two of them?
Yes.
Did Ryan have anything with him?
I don't recall.
Do you recall whether or not did you see either Griffin or Ryan drinking?
Yes, they were drinking.
Okay, so he
Before or after they got
visited.
Maybe before.
Trying to figure out where his lines up at.
Yes.
And when you got back to Tyler Rich's house, actually withdrawn, on the way over to Tyler Rich's house, did you talk to Griffin and Ryan about what had happened?
Because the state should be done today. This is their last witness on the stand.
And at some point in time, you got back to Tyler Rich's house. Were you aware of a group chat that was going on at all?
Valle?
No, I was not.
Yep.
And when you got back to Tyler Rich's house, how did you guys go in the house? Recall?
Through the basement doors.
And where are the basement doors located?
On the right side of his house.
And when you got back down there, what happened when you got back down to the basement?
Same stuff that was going on before.
The luck's just not very good.
To Ryan and Griffin, what happened to you guys?
Now, are you familiar with Faison Teal?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Faison?
Classmate, grade above me. Just known him for we played football together.
Showing you stage 54. Who's this?
That's Faison to you.
Was he at Tyler Rich's house that night?
Yes.
Did you have occasion to talk to him that night?
Yeah.
Stage 55. Can you tell us who this is?
That's my brother, Connor Connery.
Was he at Tyler's house that night?
Yes.
And stage 57. Do you know who this is?
That's Jimmy McGrath.
And how do you know Jimmy?
Football, basketball teammate growing up, childhood friend. Hung out with him every weekend.
Was he at Tyler Rich's house that night?
Yes, he was.
Did you have an occasion to talk to Jimmy throughout the night that night?
Yes, we had a conversation.
When you got back to Tyler Rich's house, did you drink any?
After picking up Griffin and Hines?
Yes.
Yes.
What did you drink?
I had 2 Bud Lights.
And what
Jesus.
time did you say you got back to Tyler Rich's house at that point? When you got back initially?
You can't even drink decent
Around 11,
beer.
maybe earlier.
That's the
At
problem.
some point in time when you were back at Tyler Rich's house, did you become aware of any type of group chat that was going on at that point?
No.
How long would you say you were back at Tyler Rich's house before withdrawing? Did you become aware at some point that a car had arrived in front of Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
How did you become aware of it?
I've heard that the kids that just
Need
fought
more
Ryan
salmon.
and Griffin were outside, so I went outside to go talk to them.
Now, prior to the car showing up, how long would you say you were back at Tyler Rich's house?
Chad, not
Half an
what
hour,
I need.
maybe a little bit more.
And when you went
Go.
outside, you recall how you went outside?
Yes.
How did you go outside?
Onto the basement doors, so around the front yard,
Okay.
and the car was across the street of the front yard, and I went over and talked to the person in the passenger seat.
So stage 49. Can you indicate on stage 49 where you saw the car pull up initially?
Bait.
Like the beginning of the road on the right side, going down facing down the road, right there,
Right here? So facing this way or facing this way?
facing that.
Facing up? Okay, so the record currently reflects the witnesses identified the area just north of the intersection of Adams and Laurel Glen, just to the west.
Hey, I guess
of
try over
what
here.
appears to be a group of trees on the property.
Closer to the waterfall, I guess.
43 Laurel Glen. And you walked over to the car?
Yes,
Do you recall who you walked over to the car with? Was there anybody with
I don't recall.
you? Was there people with you then when you walked over?
Yes,
How many people would you say were with you at the time?
8 to 10.
And when you walked over, you spoke to someone
Chewing
in
a
the
stick.
car?
Okay, so we got another artifact to drop off.
Passenger side.
Passenger.
Cool.
So the right side of the car, if the car's looking that way.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, front passenger or rear passenger?
Front.
And who did you speak to in the front passenger?
Tyler De Silva.
And what kinds of things were you?
Cat.
I asked him what he did, and I was with him the week before, and I told him that, like, I like you, like, I think you're a good kid. I know your cousins. I grew up with them, and I said, just leave. Like, there don't want any problems. Just leave.
And how do you know Tyler?
I know his cousins from growing up playing baseball, and a week prior to that, I was with Tyler De Silva and his friends.
Okay. Did you notice anybody else in the car at
Okay,
that point in
let's
time?
go.
Yes,
Who else did you notice?
Jack Snyder
And where was Jack Snyder?
driving.
How do you know Jack Snyder?
I was also with him the week before that.
Did you notice anybody else?
That's a blueberry, not a blackberry.
Yes, but I couldn't recognize faces. It was.
Okay, so you knew there were other people in the car, but you didn't know who it was?
I knew who it was.
Who?
Oh, was a blackberry just about different quality?
Raul Valle.
Okay, and how do you know Raul?
St. Joe's student was also with him a week before that.
And is Raul Valle present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And what is he wearing?
A black suit, black tie.
Can you please point him out for the record? And the record reflect your the witness identified the defendant in this case.
Or will reflect on the record that the witness has identified Mr. Valley.
Whatever. I'll come back for it.
Now, do you know Ricky Fiola?
Probably.
Sal Perry?
Yes.
Do you know Mike Sampieri?
Yes.
Do you know Alex Bernstein?
Yes.
Do you know Jake
Redo this.
Lobos?
Yes.
Need to bring
Matthew Lakovich?
or
Yes.
How do you know
ingots with me.
All friends growing up.
And were they present at
Yes.
Tyler Rich's house that night?
So you can upgrade a trash can.
Now, you said you were talking to Tyler Rich, or Tyler DeSilva, excuse me, initially in front of the 43 Laurel Glen. Did you notice, was the defendant saying anything or doing anything at this point?
I did not notice.
How long would you say your conversation lasted for with Tyler DeSilva at that car?
Not even 30 seconds.
Do you recall what kind of car it was, by the way?
Dark SUV.
Okay. And so it was, you said 30 seconds?
Yeah.
At some point in time, well, withdrawn, was the conversation with Tyler DeSilva, was it cordial? Was it peaceful?
It was peaceful.
Okay, so they go into
At
their
what point in time did the interaction between either you and Mr. DeSilva or anybody else around you in the car become not peaceful?
Not that I'm aware of.
What happened after that period of time speaking with Mr. DeSilva?
I walked away and I went towards the front lawn where all the other rest of the party was there, just watching, just was talking with them.
So you had a conversation with Mr. DeSilva in the street area for about 30 seconds, and then you walked away?
Yes.
Where did you walk to? Can you tell us on stage 49?
let's see.
In the driveway, a little bit to the left, like by like the lawn and like near the white car, kind of.
Right, probably this area here?
A little bit more up though, or like down, like on the lawn.
Here.
Down here?
Yes.
Okay. So if the record can reflect, witnesses identifying in stage 49 the front right passenger side wheel of this white pickup truck in the grass area. So when you were in that area, were you able to observe things that were going on at the car at that point, or what were you doing when you went back to that area?
I wasn't really paying attention to the car, but I was just talking with friends.
We need to build a silo. And
I don't recall what we
Trash
were
can.
talking about, but just talking with them.
Now, how many people were in your area at that point in time? Do you remember?
Around 20.
20, okay. So there were about 10 kids or so at the car, and then 20 like back at near your area?
God, there's so many kids. That would make me nervous.
Did you have an occasion to,
Just that many people in general.
Yes.
do you know why the car left?
No.
Do you recall hearing or seeing any type of altercation that happened at the car?
When the car was not moving?
Right.
No.
So when the car left, which way did it go? Did it go up in States 49, or did it go back towards that?
It went up.
Okay, and when it went up, tell us what you observed about what the car did.
When it went up, since there was people around the car, it sped off very, very fast, and kids got out the way, and then it turned around and came back, and stuff was thrown out, and then people picked up their stuff that was with our friends, and we threw stuff back while I was going back and forth speeding the car.
Were you involved in that at all?
No, I was not.
So did you stay in the area in front, on the grass area where you just described in States 49 when this was happening?
Yes.
You fishing?
How many times would you say the car drove up and down the street?
3 to 4.
And at some point in time, did it stop?
Yes.
And when it stopped, what did you do?
Stopped at the end of the road, north all the way down. At the intersection of Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Lane.
Saw the car stop down the area, down in that area. What did you observe about it at that point? Did you observe the car just stop, or tell us what you saw?
I noticed that 2 individuals got out of the car. So
Okay.
me and a
Okay.
couple of my friends
Cub.
went down there.
Come on, give me salmon, goddammit.
When you say a couple of your friends, do you recall who you were with?
Yes.
Who were you
I need
with?
6 more salmon,
Ty
please.
Wood, Matt Lockovich, Ricky Fiola, Tyler Rich.
Okay, there we go.
That's about it.
So you went down the street? When you went down the street, did you go in a big mob? How did you make your way down the street?
A couple kids were farther up than me. We kind of went individual or like in as twos, not as in a group.
Who were you closer to, you recall?
Ty Wood,
And who was further down the street? Do you know who was further down the street?
Tyler Rich, and Ricky Fiola.
Okay. And when you got down, how far did you get down the street? Would you say that night?
So where they were in the intersection?
And did you witness any interactions with anybody?
Yes.
What did you witness about any interactions with them?
I witnessed that Ricky Fiola was talking to Raul Valle, and that me, Matt Logovich, and Ty were talking to Tyler Da Silva.
And what were you guys talking about with him? What did you say to him? Did you say anything to him at that point?
Told him to leave. Said, buy the car, leave.
And did you, Ty Wood, with engage in any fighting behavior down Laurel Brook at that point in time?
No.
Did you witness Ricky Fiola and the defendant speaking to each other?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear what the defendant was saying at any point during that interaction?
No, I didn't.
Okay, 3 more.
How long would you say the interaction was between you and Mr. Da Silva down the street when you told him to leave?
10 seconds.
And after you told him to leave, what did you do?
Turned around and walked back.
Walk back to Mr. Rich's house?
Mhm.
And how long would you say, did you observe the entire interaction between Mr. Fiola and the defendant?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay. Were they still talking when you turned around and walked back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, did you make it all the way back to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Now we're making good
Walk
time.
back by yourself.
No.
Tell me about how you made it from where Tyler Rich was to back to 43 Laurel Glen.
I walked back with Ty Wood and Matt Locke, and the rest jogged up and caught up to us, and then we walked back together.
And did you discuss anything with who caught up with you and walked back with you at that point in time? Do you recall?
Ricky Fiola, Tyler Rich.
Yeah, the buy more
Matt
bait
Locke.
too.
And did you guys discuss what had happened down the street?
Yes.
And in particular, did you have a conversation with Ricky Fiola?
Yes, I did.
And after that conversation happened, did you guys all make your way back into Mr. Rich's basement?
Yes.
And how long would you say you were back in the basement for?
30 seconds.
And at some point in time, did you exit the basement after 30 seconds?
Yes.
Why did you exit the basement?
I was told that they're back.
And when you said
Okay, so they
you were told that they
came
were
back.
how did you get out of the basement? Same way you went in?
Same way I went in.
And when you
Worked out really well.
where did you go? Do you recall where you went?
Yes.
State floor.
Alright, so that must have been the first altercation.
Yes, I was hanging out by the basement doors and slowly creeping up, but I kept my distance from what was going on.
What was going on when you came outside?
It was like I saw people like lined up face to face, like talking to each other.
Show you state 6. Can you show me in state 6 where you saw people lined up?
Towards the left, by between like the bush and the truck.
So somewhere in this area here?
Yes.
And who was in that area at the time when you came outside?
I saw Ty Wood, Ryan Hines, Tyler Rich, Tyler Da Silva, and Raul Valle.
And what were you observing about all of them?
They were just face to face talking.
Who was face to face talking to Tyler Da Silva? Do you recall?
Tyler Rich.
Okay.
And who was anybody talking to the defendant?
Yes.
And who was talking to the defendant?
Ryan Hines and Ty Wood.
And do you recall? Can you tell us on this exhibit here, state 6, where was Tyler Da Silva standing as opposed to where was the defendant standing? Can you show us this exhibit?
Tyler Da Silva was
All right,
over
let's
to the
go
left,
try to fish for more
to the left
salmon.
side, and
We
Raul was to
need
the
3
right. They
more.
were next to each other, but Raul was on the right and Tyler was on the left.
So Raul was probably closer to this red bush here.
Yes, and Tyler was closer to the truck. They were right next to each other.
And when they were talking, describe what the conversation was like when they were face to face.
I wasn't close enough to hear.
So you just heard, what did you hear? Were they
Oh, I didn't buy
talking or
bait
were they,
yet.
was it loud?
Also,
It
what
seemed
happened to
more,
my...
Not peaceful.
What happened to
as
my
other conversations
bobber?
were. It seemed like something was stirring up.
Thought I had a bobber, did I not?
But I didn't know what they was talking about.
So were you still back by the
Oh, whatever.
Noco doors?
Yes.
Need bait.
You
Yes.
were witnessing this from back where
I still have an open slot. Do this.
see there's like this AC unit back here. Back
Excuse me.
over here.
Yes.
So could you, from your vantage point, could you see what was going on Was there, how could you see what was going on over here?
It was a clear view.
Were there lights?
Yes, there was a garage light shined right at them.
Did anybody else have their phones out? Was there lights on at this point?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So from that vantage, how far do you think it is from this area where the,
Let's go drop off this stuff first.
next to the Bilko door to where this area is here?
About 20 feet.
20 feet? So you could see
Ooh.
what's going on, you could hear what's going on. Could you make
Oh yeah,
out
it's supposed to be like Halloween kind of. End of the fall.
I mean,
At the time, maybe, but I don't recall it.
okay, that's fine.
I remember now.
How long would you say the conversation lasted for between the parties?
That conversation right there,
Yeah.
10 to 15 seconds.
And after 10 to 15 seconds, what, if anything, did you observe?
I observed Raul making a movement, and Tyler Rich coming across.
I got a skeleton decoration.
Now, when this was going on, when you were observing and listening to what was going on, were you making your way closer to?
Yes.
Okay. And so, at some point in time, prior to the punch that you saw, how close were you in this incident?
A little bit farther from me to you right now.
Okay, so probably about 10 feet.
Yeah. Yes.
What was the move? Can you describe what it was like? Can you show us?
I like it. Something like that. Like, something like this with no contact. Like just went like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying to do, but Tyler Rich came across and punched him in the face.
And when Tyler Rich came across and punched him in the face, what happened after that?
Two fights kind
Cool.
of broke out separate ways, and I just watched my brother run over to the fight that was going towards the left side, which I saw Ryan Hines and Faison Teal over there with Raul Valle fighting him, and I saw my brother running over there, so then I started running over there.
So you started, when you say you started running over,
How much clay? Oh, I don't have enough clay. Fuck.
Yes.
Can you show us on stage 52?
Grab clay.
That's where you walked. That's where I walked. And where was the fight going towards the right there? Okay. So they were closer to the house when the fight started?
Yeah, there was a runner right here. One guy went this way.
Okay. And you started following the fight?
Nope. Come here, buddy.
That was the fight that
Sam.
involved-
My brother Tommy Connery, Ryan Hines, and Faison Teal.
And what did you observe about that fight when you were following?
Well, I ran over there, and then by the time I got
Somebody's
there,
birthday today. You got to
I didn't do
the
anything. I just stood and watched.
cart.
And I
Oh yeah,
saw
Book saw yesterday.
Tommy sort of standing over him as well, but more in it. I saw Ryan like on top of him, and I saw Faison also like, or like on top of him, like not on top of him, but like next to him, like fighting.
So, is there a path of travel, we'll say, that the fight took when you were observing this? Did it stay in one area, or did it constantly move?
It first stayed in one area, but then everyone got off of Raul, and then he walked away, and that fight was over.
Can you show me like where that all happened? To the best of your recollection.
Like, happened over here. Then everyone like got off there. And all the-
I'll just sell these berries.
Okay. And when you saw that happen, where did you follow?
Yeah, I followed him.
Show me the path that you followed.
I kept a far distance from him the whole entire time. And when he was like over here, I was over here. And he was like this way, I was over here.
Keep my distance from him, but keep my eye on him,
Why did you do that?
because I was aware that he had a knife.
And did you engage in the fight at all?
Oh, I know, that'll
What
fuck
did
you
you
up.
observe when you walked? So you did like a, correct me if I'm wrong.
That'll fuck you up real easy.
Semicircle?
Yes.
And what did you
Hello.
observe about the defendant as you're doing this semicircle?
I observed when he got out of the fight, some people pushed him to get even more out of the way and get him into the road and get him out of here and like just have him leave. And I just kept observing him walking, and I watched him walk towards the car.
Okay. Let me stop you.
hours of fish. Already have that rare crow.
Fight breaks out, Silva comes, gets pushed back, gets for the point, but refuses 350. Yes. And fight between the defendant Hines, your brother, and Teal somewhere in this area.
Spend 800 on that. All right, let's hurry over and try to get our silo booked. Started. Something spicy. Anything specific? Oh. Yes, I have just a thing for you. All ears. Oh, this is from my thing. $2,500 gold. I'm sorry, what? Mom.
Yelling. He has a knife, he has a knife, he has a knife, because I thought he just went and grabbed it, but unfortunately I was wrong.
And when you yelled that he had a knife, did you see him have a knife on him at that point in time?
Yeah, 10 times the price up markup.
What did you
Yeah,
say about the
of course.
defendant when he came back onto the property?
I saw him next to Tyler Da Silva, and
Be less greedy.
they're both
No offense, Pierre, but
no one was going after them. No one was going near them. They were just
you're right. We can move on.
looking at each other, and then the defendant went after the closest person to him. It was Jimmy McGrath, and stabbed him.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath tried to engage?
Wait,
Okay. And what did
homie, they're my veggies. Oh, and gets it.
He has a knife, he has a knife, he has a knife, because I thought he just went and grabbed it, but unfortunately I was wrong.
And when you yelled that he had a knife, did you see him have a knife on him at that point in time?
No.
What did you observe about the defendant when he came back onto the property?
I saw him next to Tyler Da Silva, and they were both in the road, and no one was going after them. No one was going near them. They were just, everyone was just looking at each other, and then the defendant went after the closest person to him. It was Jimmy McGrath, and stabbed him.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath tried to engage? Withdrawn. Did you see Jimmy McGrath at this point in time, just prior to the defendant stabbing Jimmy?
I saw him right before it, right before he got stabbed.
Did it appear that Jimmy McGrath, was he trying to engage the defendant?
No, he wasn't.
Did it appear did Jimmy have a weapon on him that night?
Or did not.
Did Jimmy approach the defendant in any manner whatsoever, from your perspective?
No, he didn't.
So tell us about what.
Oh, so he went over and stabbed Jimmy as the fight was like kind of calming down,
People are at this point in time.
right?
stepping back a little bit from
That's what it sounds like.
Raul and Tyler Silva because they've heard that I yelled he had a knife, and people were kind of stepping back to where they were, like more towards the middle of the lawn or somewhere around the lawn, not near the road. And the defendant went after the closest person to him, which was Jimmy.
So where was Jimmy standing that you recall?
After I finish this, am I around the dispensary?
Right,
And we'll go live on Twitch.
on State
Well.
52, just upwards and just slightly to the right of where the mailbox was, or is. So, what did you, so take us through it. He comes back on the lawn.
Where's the walleye frenzy at?
What is he, where is Jimmy's where? Defendant's on the lawn, where's Jimmy?
When the defendant comes back over here, Jimmy's around,
Okay.
everyone's around here, and now it's right here. Then, defendant moves along, and Jimmy's right here.
And tell me what you saw at that point.
Where the defendant
Go after Jimmy aggressively, and Jimmy was trying to get away, and
I gotta hurry. Fuck.
Did you see Jimmy take a step back? What did you see?
I saw Jimmy trying to avoid it.
And what happened?
Didn't.
Where did you see him stab Jimmy in the back?
Looked like, from my point of view, it looked like the upper stomach range, like lower chest, like right around here.
Okay. So if the record can reflect your honor, he's indicating on his own body just upper stomach area below the left chest area.
Ugh, so this is like the most intense one.
When you saw the defendant stab Jimmy, what, if anything, did you observe or hear next?
Because we're like hearing about
I
the
yelled
stabbing
out,
itself.
I yelled out Jimmy's name twice, and Jimmy, and he turned around and said, "I've been stabbed," and then the next second he collapsed to the ground.
And when he collapsed, what, if anything, did you do next?
Oh my god.
I froze and I saw a couple people running towards him. Then I just started hearing screams of someone yelling, "I need stitches! I need stitches!"
Who that was?
Ah, that's fine.
Yes, I turned around and saw my brother on the ground, just like covered in blood.
And where was your brother? If you can use States 52, do you recall where you saw your brother?
was right here, and
Your brother was back.
We need to buy the backpack during winter.
And was there anybody with him at this point in time? Do you recall?
Yes, Wilbur already was with him.
Who was Will Berardi?
He's my cousin.
And when you saw your brother, did you go to your brother at that point?
Yes.
And what did you observe about where was he stabbed? Do you recall?
Above his left leg, above his knee.
Was that the first time you realized that your brother had been stabbed?
Yes.
What was his leg like when you saw that?
Bloody, like multiple wounds.
And after, did you try to help your brother out?
Yeah, I immediately ripped my shirt off and tied it around his leg to form pressure.
Right.
And
Well, that's smart.
my brother's
Good on him.
friends told me to walk away, that they had him and they wouldn't. And then my brother was looking at me and he's saying that, "Go help Jimmy. Go help Jimmy."
Oh, okay.
And then
Yeah. Well, yeah. Jimmy was stabbed in the lower torso,
Really try to help.
or in the torso in
I
general.
walked over there and there was a lot of people around him to the point I wouldn't even make room over there. But I walked over and I saw the condition Jimmy McGrath was in, and I just turned around and walked away.
What did you notice about Jimmy's condition at that point in time?
Very pale.
Yeah, he's bleeding out already.
A lot of blood, shorts covered in red.
Did you notice if anybody else was stabbed that night?
When I walked around, I noticed that Brian Hines and Faison Teal were also stabbed.
And,
Did he like slice people,
Yes.
who called the police?
or did he?
Will Berardi called the police. I'm aware of that. I'm assuming multiple people also did. I know that Will Berardi did.
And did the police at some point arrive?
Yes.
And did you speak to the police that night?
Yes, I did.
And did you tell them everything you told us here today?
Yes, I did.
Now, I'll show you States.
Go grab. Wait. Well, I don't have room right now.
Talking about the same thing. Have you seen,
So the walleyes,
can you tell us prior to our
half of them.
whether or not, does this video show the entire
Um,
what happened on May 14th, 2022?
No, it doesn't.
And in recalling, in seeing this, do you recall at what point we see?
fish is about the only thing I got to sell today. It's getting late. I'm aware.
So you see this area here of kids that just went over this way, to the right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the period of time where you testified prior to that you were kids pushing the defendant off the street?
Yes.
And this individual down here, you recall seeing this individual in the blue on the ground?
No, I don't.
Okay, so your focus is over here?
Yes.
Okay, and do you recall using state 60, where are you at this point in time?
I'm walking around towards near where people are getting pushed out.
So is this you right here in the black shorts and white shirt?
That could be.
And you're witnessing what's going on?
Yes.
Did you get involved in the fight?
No, I did not.
Do you recall if Jimmy McGrath was involved over here?
No, he wasn't.
And at some point in time, you say this defendant goes back to the
Yes.
I want more fish. Fish worth more money. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna be back in just like 10 minutes. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go go run to the dispensary real quick. I'll start the Twitch stream. I'll be back. All right, well. Murphy presiding. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, you may be seated. All right, so the court's prepared to render its decision on the record on the motion for judgment of acquittal in this case. The motion was sought as to all 4 counts with emphasis on murder. So I'm going to start by saying that in ruling on a motion for judgment of acquittal, the trial judge must determine whether a reasonable, rational trier of fact could find the crime proven beyond a reasonable doubt. A determination of whether the evidence could reasonably support a finding of guilty beyond a reasonable doubt does not require a court to ask itself whether it believes that the evidence at trial established guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Instead, the relevant question is whether, after viewing the evidence in a light most favorable to the prosecution, any rational trier of fact could find the essential elements of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. I anticipated the defendant's motion, as it is commonly made at the close of the prosecution's case in chief, wherefore I did review and had the opportunity to look at the following: pattern jury instructions, the notes that I've taken. I've reviewed the statutes that apply in this case, and after careful consideration of the evidence presented at trial and the logical and reasonable inferences that can be drawn from the facts presented and that evidence, I find that the jury reasonably could conclude that all elements of the crimes charged in the information, which include murder at count 1, assault in the first degree at count 2, assault in the first degree at count 3, and assault in the second degree at count 4, have been proved. Therefore, That's moving us now to the defendant's presentation of the evidence. So at this time, Attorney Smith, before bringing the jury back in, I'd like to inquire what is Mr. Valle's decision with regards to testifying in this matter.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Valle, and it is his intention to testify here, Your Honor, and I would ask that he be canvassed as to that decision.
All right, so in accordance with current case law, the Morel Vargas matter set forth in the Supreme Court, I am going to go ahead and canvass Mr. Valle regarding his decision, as it is a constitutional decision. Constitutional rights apply here. So at this point in time, I'm going to actually start with counsel. Attorney Smith, have you informed the defendant that he has the right to testify as well as the right not to testify, and should he not testify, the fact finder may not draw any adverse inferences from his choice to not testify?
I have, Your Honor.
Did you also explain to the defendant his right to testify as well as to not testify belongs to him alone, and that no one else can make that decision for him, including counsel?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Did you also discuss the advantages and disadvantages of testifying in this particular trial?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Mr. Valle, I would ask you to please stand. I am going to ask you some questions. Thank you. So, Mr. Valle, the court's going to make an inquiry regarding your decision to testify in this case. The inquiry is not meant to have any effect on your decision, but rather to document your decision on the record. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So after consulting with Attorney Smith, is it your decision to testify on your own behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a constitutional right to either testify on your own behalf or to not testify on your own behalf? Do you also understand that you're not obligated to testify?
Yes.
Do you further understand that if you were to choose not to testify, the fact finder would be instructed not to draw any adverse inferences from your choice to not testify? Do you also understand that your right to testify or to not testify belongs to you alone, and no one, including your counsel, can prevent you from testifying or force you to testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you feel that you've had enough time and opportunity to discuss your decision with counsel, including strategy concerning the right to testify or to not testify in your case?
Yes.
And you also feel that you've had enough time to consider the advantages and disadvantages of testifying? Have you understood the information that counsel has provided to you relative to your decision? Is it your personal decision to testify in this case, thereby waiving your right to not testify? You're making this decision voluntarily, Mr. Valle. No one's forcing you or threatening you concerning the decision that you've made here today? Okay. Have you understood all of my questions?
Yes.
Do you need any more time with counsel before moving forward? Okay. The court's going to find that the defendant has chosen to testify and has effectively waived his right to not testify knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily. So, Mr. Valle, you may be seated. Attorney Smith, are you in a position at this time to go ahead and present the defense of this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
So at this time, then, I would ask the clerk to please bring our jury in.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not sure if I stated it on the record. The clerk sent me a note, but just in case I didn't, the motion for judgment of acquittal is denied. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury. Counsel, please stipulate to the return of all of our jurors.
State will stipulate, Your Honor.
Defense stipulates, Your Honor.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask the defense to please present its next witness, or first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for Mr. Valle to be called to the stand and put under oath by the clerk.
Mr. Valle, please come on up. Step into the witness box. Once you are in the witness box, please remain standing, and the clerk is going to put you under oath.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God, or upon penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do. Thank you. Please state your full name, spelling your last name, and address for the record. Thank you, sir.
You may be seated. Thank you. Attorney Smith, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Valle. You're going to need to keep your voice up. Okay? We are competing with the fan in the back, and I see the court reporter nodding. She's not able to hear you, so you need to stay close to the microphone, speak loud enough to be heard over the fan, and you've got to give a verbal response of some form, yes, no, or whatever the answer may be, but it has to be loud enough to be heard, okay?
Yes.
There we go. You and I have met before?
Yes.
And can you tell us how old you are now?
I'm 20 years old.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you one more time. You got to keep your voice up. I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm sure the jurors are having trouble hearing you.
I'm 20 years old.
You're 20 years old now? Okay, did you recently turn 20 years old? And are you in school now?
I'm not.
Are you working now?
I'm not.
Did you complete high school? Where did you complete high school?
I finished online at Foreign High School.
And when did you finish online?
2023.
Where did you go to school for high school before that?
St. Joseph High School in Trumbull.
And were you at St. Joseph's High School from the time you were a freshman?
Yes.
Where were you before that?
It's at East Shore Middle School in Milford.
Is that a public school that you've just described? And the school that you went to for high school, St. Joseph's High School, is that a private school? Prior to going to St. Joseph's High School, had you been in the Milford Public Schools?
Yes.
Since you were a child? Did you grow up in Milford?
Yes.
Did you grow up anywhere other than Milford?
I lived in Florida for 2 years.
Anywhere else in Connecticut?
New Haven.
When you say you were in Florida for 2 years, was that before you came to Connecticut?
I was in Connecticut and then I moved to Florida for 2 years. And then I came back.
Okay. Did you go to any New Haven schools? Do you remember how old you were when you moved to Milford?
Very young. I can't remember the age.
Did you start your schooling in Milford or somewhere else?
Yes.
And who lived in your house with you as you were growing up?
My 3 brothers, my dad, and my mother.
And your 3 brothers, what are their names?
Raul, Derek, and Oscar.
Did you say the first one was Raul? You have a brother who's also named Raul. And can you just explain, is that a brother from, is that a half brother or is that a full brother?
Full brother. The name was passed down from my grandfather.
I see. And do you go by a nickname?
Yeah.
And what is that nickname?
Vito.
And what does that mean?
Like the younger.
I see. Is that like Pablito or Carlito?
Yes.
I see. When you were at St. Joseph's High School, did you have a circle of friends? And who was in that circle of friends?
Close to me, I would say James Albert, Tyler De Silva. Those were the 2 I was closest with. Everybody else was on the football team, and I was close with them too, but not as close.
That was Tyler De Silva and somebody named James Albert.
Oh my God, he goes on the stand. Okay. Okay. All right, give me just a moment. Stream channels. Okay, we'll flip that on in a second. That now?